Joining us today is Cheryl Zarate Cueva, a AF3IRM LA core member, and she's here to talk about International Women's Day event that AF3IRM is putting together on March 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me and making time for us. I really appreciate that.
Yes, whenever AF3IRM has an event or something that you're putting together, a project, I love to just talk to you guys to explain more about it, because you're all about advocating for women's rights and empowerment. So again, thank you. And I want to talk about the event that's happening on March 25th. I know it's titled Our Bodies, Our Homelands. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, where do I begin? So this event our goal is to make it educational, entertaining, and interactive. So we will open up the event with some music and some art. And then we will have a facilitated discussion with our panelists, followed by a Q&A discussion from our guests. We do have panelists, Christine Stark, who is a writer, artist, poet, and speaker. And then we have Jordan Marie Daniels, Grandma Gloria, and performers I don't think I can name yet because they haven't been confirmed, but it's going to be a great event.
Take me back to when AF3IRM decided to put the event together. Tell me how important it was, what inspired you all?
Well, first, it's for International Women's Day. As we know, March is Women's History Month, and so we always want to do an event for International Working Women's Day. And the reason, let me just tell you, for me personally, it's personal and political. And we at AF3IRM strongly believe that the personal is political, because personally, I was born on this stolen land, brought over by my immigrant parents for a better life. But a better life in expense of who and what stories are being told. And so the education that I've received about Indigenous history is really erased and harmed by colonialism. And so we thought, as a transnational feminist organization, that we bring this to the front of people's eyes. This movement and this story about what's happening to our Indigenous sisters are not being told. And so this is a labor of love. Let's all volunteer. We have working mothers, healthcare providers, all planning for this event on their free time, whatever that means for you all. And we are learning. I actually really have very limited knowledge about missing and murdered Indigenous women's and two spirits. And so the reason why I wanted to climb up aboard this project or this event was to also educate myself, because I feel like I'm committed to telling the truth. And we as an organization are committed to learning and educating as well. And we're a transnational organization mixed with a diverse sisterhood. So we even though that not all of us identify as Indigenous or Native, like I'm Filipino American, we want to make this event for everyone, because it is an issue affecting women that is not spotlighted. And this ongoing colonial violence against women on this stolen land, it is our duty to uplift these stories and give importance to sisterhood.
Yes, and thank you to AF3IRM for doing something like this. I have no idea actually what Missing and Murdered MMIWG2S stands for. I don't know anything about it, so if you can just help me, just shine the light or give me some sort of information.
Absolutely. I highly suggest you come to our event to learn more about it, because I'm also still learning. You said the acronyms right. Murdered, Missing Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit is a movement in the United States and Canada that, again, just brings awareness to what's going on. It is Well, I'll just name some statistics actually. According to the Urban Indian Health Institute, there are 5,712 known incidents of missing and murdered Native American and Alaskan Native women in 2016. And only 116 cases were logged into the Department of Justice database. And there probably is more, but none are being like recorded or said or talked about. Between 2005 and 2009, 67% of cases that U.S. attorneys declined to prosecute of Native community matters involve sexual abuse. 96% of these happened on some reservations, and the number of sexual violence against Native women are committed by non-Natives. My sister, Catherine, who's in our organization, she is an Indigenous woman herself, gave me this fact as well, that there's a connection between what's happening with MMIWG2S and the fossil fuel industry. If you take a look at where the main reservations and camps exist along pipeline routes as well. So just, making that connection not only to like the sexual abuse that's happening, but also a connection to the fossil fuel industry. So everything is interconnected, bringing back to like, it's not only harming women's bodies, but they're also harming our lands. So that's why, hence the title of our event.
Wow. I know you said you're quite new to this information, but do you have do you know why it's being underreported or not getting as much attention, or seems like even support just by listening to the statistics?
You know what? I've been watching so many documentaries and reading and going through podcasts ever since I hopped aboard this project. And one woman said in her interviews, like, there really is no one single reason why, other than what you can think of as colonialism, is sort of like the pushing away of the Indigenous stories and, like kind of hiding it under the rug. Right. Yes, Jinx. Yeah, because I mean,
oh my gosh, I'm so glad that AF3IRM is here to shine the light on this very important topic. I mean, wow, I had no idea. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
And then is that separate from the sex trades as well, that I know that you're very passionate about?
Well, it is interconnected because disproportionately, Indigenous women and girls are represented in the sex trade compared to overall populations. So I have a quote here that I got from Guardian News, but it says, but while Native Americans make up about 11% of the state's population, they account for nearly a quarter of trafficking victims, according to the data compiled from service organizations. And also another statistic I got here, that sex trafficking generates $99 billion a year globally. And in the United States, it is mostly Black and Indigenous women who are victimized at higher rates.
Oh my gosh, $99 billion
globally. And so I do want to mention globally because, as Filipino American, and this is, I know our audience is mostly Filipino American. I do want to make that connection of globally, because as we are a transnational organization, I do want to bring up that that in the Philippines, for example, we have militarization, lack of housing, food security, resources have led women to go into the sex trade to provide for their families. We see that, choices don't happen in a vacuum, is what we're trying to say here, where they're led to be, or choices or decisions are being made due to the lack of choices, is what I'm trying to say. And so also, human trafficking and prostitution of children is happening, and kidnapping is happening in the Philippines and all around the world, and happening on this United States American soil. due to sex tourism that's happening in the Philippines and even here. I'll, again, I invite you all to go to the panel. So we have our Indigenous sisters who actually can speak on their behalf on what's happening to their community. But I just wanted to point that out to make that connection with our community as well. It's happening in the Philippines and here. So
these are just startling facts. I mean, it's devastating to hear. For more information on the event, where can we go? And is it a free event?
Yes, it's definitely a free event.
All we have to do is go online, and the website is on the screen.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, definitely. You can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, Affirm LA. I forgot to also mention, this is an Affirm LA and Affirm Twin Cities in Minnesota. They're a new chapter. And Christine Stark is actually from Minnesota. So yeah, I just wanted to also shout that out as
that's
well.
great. You guys are expanding, which is wonderful. If we want to get involved, I know you mentioned that it's an all volunteer, right? How can we get involved? I mean,
oh, yes, most definitely. We're always looking to expand. Yeah, you can email us, go to our website, follow us on all social media handles, and just reach out, and someone from our organizing committee will definitely reach out to you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Always a pleasure chatting and hearing more updates and events from Affirm, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us time. I appreciate it.